Hey Canucks fans, General Manager Jim Benning has just finished speaking to the media. He spoke to them for about 22 minutes or so on a wide variety of topics. So let's get right into it. The biggest thing, a few general takeaways, and then we'll get into the specifics. He admits the team is fragile right now. And I don't know if that's the word you want to hear your GM using to describe your team, but he used the term 2 or 3 times that we are a fragile group right now. Everything from management to coaching to the players. And that's the thing that stands out to me the most is there's at least an acknowledgement that there are problems. But I don't know if you want to hear your GM using that type of word. But I guess that leads me to the second point is I always appreciate Jim Benning's honesty. Now, a lot of people make fun of him. They might not think he's doing a great job. And there are a lot of questions about his job performance and I'll get into that in a second. But you can never fault him for not being honest, for not being genuine. And he takes on all questions. He doesn't always answer them, i.e. some questions about the Jake Virtanen, continuing case. He said he answered 2 questions by saying he's not going to comment on it. But generally, he was very forthcoming, very honest. And for better or for worse, then you see his human side, which I like, but then you also don't get a lot in terms of actual, practical, tangible, meaty plans. So when he was asked about the firebending chance, he says that it's upsetting. It's upsetting to him, and I believe that when he says that, because he talked about how him and his group have worked for 7.5, 8 years to build this team into a winner, and it's frustrating. Especially after all the changes they made in the offseason, which they thought they were going to be good. Ekman-larsson, Garland, Dickinson, Halak, and so new contracts repeating Hughes, so on and so forth. They thought that they were getting Pullman. They thought they were going to be a lot better. So it almost astounds them that they got off to such a slow start. So I'm going to be careful not to bounce all over the place. So let me talk in general terms. Firstly, yes, the team is fragile, and he was very honest and says that the calls for his job are upsetting to him, yet he understands, he's smart enough to recognize that this is a very passionate and rabid hockey market, and sometimes not the most patient hockey market. And he also said, in talking about that though, he didn't use the word perspective, but it's something that I talk about a lot, is he didn't equate it, but he mentioned the Abbotsford floods and the people that have lost lives, homes, and property, and he kind of said it's life happens and you deal with it. So in contrasting what the team's going through, what he's going through, he also mentioned the Abbotsford situation and said life happens. The other biggest takeaway, and then we'll get into specifics, the other biggest takeaway is when he was asked directly, is Travis Green's job safe? He did not say yes. He did not say no. Of course, he's not going to say no, but he didn't say yes. He says, well, we're all working hard on trying to get our way out of this. We're all trying to figure this out. We're all talking. We're all meeting. We're exploring. So when asked specifically about is Travis Green's job safe, Jim Benning had the opportunity there to say, yes, I'm not looking to make a coaching change. He had every opportunity to say yes and give the vote of confidence, even though that could be the seal of death. He did not do that. When asked about his own job, he also did not sound that confident. He said, well, I can't worry about that. Ownership will make that decision if they want to. So not the most confidence instilling words, that's for sure. So I think those were the biggest takeaways overall. Now let's talk about some specifics. He talked about he was surprised that how the news of his meeting with ownership got leaked. But I guess he shouldn't be surprised. Everything gets out in this town. And let's talk about specifics player. Travis Hamonic, it was kind of confusing. I thought he said that Travis Hamonic today was on his way to get his second shot. But then he after about a minute, he said that he got his shot a couple of days ago. Regardless, Hamonic should have a second shot now, and he should be ready to go and play in the States in a couple of weeks, whenever that timeline ends. But he said the original confusion back in September training camp about him saying that the team's going to be fully vaccinated is apparently Hamonic was ready to get his first shot, went to the pharmacy, and then changed his mind at the pharmacy, and that delayed everything by a few weeks. So that's the clarity or unclarity he provided on Travis Hamonic. With respect to Brandon Sutter, he said he's improving, he's getting better, but he's nowhere close to returning, nowhere close to skating. So I don't, not that anyone is, but I don't think we should count on a return from Brandon Sutter anytime soon. He talked about Pettersson and that they are concerned and they're talking to him, they're working with him, trying to get him better. Talked about, yes, he missed a lot of time last season, rehabbing from the injury, but in talking about PD and then talking about the team overall, he says he acknowledges that some of the good players have not been playing to their potential and need to perform better. So at least it's good that there was acknowledgement there as well. So he talked about Hamonic, he talked about Sutter, he talked about PD. Didn't really get into, talked about, question was there dissension, is there dissension in the locker room? And Jim Benning says, no, he doesn't think so, that as far as he knows, everything's fine from that standpoint, although there's been a lot of stories about, alpha males and warring factions or warring people in the locker room. He talked about that. He also talked a lot of questions about the 8-year run, and he said, someone just flat out asked him, should 8 years be enough time for a rebuild? And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, it should be. So at least he didn't duck that. But it kind of just feeds into this whole notion of, why is this team so bad? Benning's had 8 years at the helm to improve the team, and it hasn't really improved at all. Then in the bigger picture, why the slow start, why it's surprising, or why the team's playing so badly. And like I've been saying in many of my videos, including the one this morning, 5-on-5, the team has been playing okay, but it's special teams that's really hurting. Power play, and of course the penalty kill. And they spent a lot of time in his media availability talking about the penalty kill, how poor it is. Talked about when they started the season without Sutter, Mott, Dickinson, and Highmore, that made a big dent in the penalty killing effectiveness. Gosh, my legs are really restless right now. Sorry, I just gotta stretch. Maybe because I was sitting for 25 minutes watching that press conference for 20 minutes. He talked about how missing those guys, Sutter, Mott, Dickinson, and Highmore, and how Sutter and Mott's absences were even a bit longer than usual, how that really hurt the penalty kill. But overall, it was good to hear Jim Benning acknowledge some of the issues. Didn't have any solutions. Says they're, here's another thing that was interesting. They're exploring everything. They're exploring, even talking. He said he's talked to other GMs about what they could do. So to me, that signals that he is not adverse to making a big trade to shake things up. So big picture, I'm sure I missed a few things, but those are the big things to me. Is overall, he called the team fragile. He said the best players got to be better. Acknowledge the penalty kill. Acknowledge that he hears the fans and it upsets somebody. In some respects, he understands why there is such angst. So take a look. If I'm not sure I'm sure they're going to post, somehow you'll be able to catch it. I caught it on Sportsnet. So somehow you'll be able to find a replay of this media availability. I love to hear what you guys have to think. What stood out to you from what Jim Benning said? What did you wish? Is there anything that you wish he said that he didn't? Or is there anything that he said that you just can't get behind? I thought he was open, he was transparent, he was honest, he was frustrated, he was genuine, but he also didn't give a lot of new info, rather an acknowledgement that the team is bad right now and, as he said, is fragile. Lastly, Justin Bailey put on waivers for the purposes of sending him back to Abbotsford. That means, between Dowling and Chason, who are there, Mott coming back, Lamico, there's already 4 guys there, and maybe Highmore will be back relatively soon. So that's probably why they have Bailey going back to Abbotsford. All right, Canucks fans, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about Jim Benning's words, and if there's anything you take issue with or you affirm or simply just make you more sad. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read, react, and reply as always. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care. Oh, by the way, I did all my shout outs and everything in my video from earlier today, but I will say subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to, become a member of this channel if you'd like to, and leave a comment down below if you'd like to. Now, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.